Hi everybody, welcome back to the TETRIX RoboBench video series. I'm Tim from Pittsco Education, and today I've got a colleague back with me today, Ray. Ray, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to those that haven't met you before?
Okay, I'm Ray Grissom. I'm a curriculum specialist here at Pittsco, and I've been involved with writing the Builder's Guide for the TETRIX Prime sets.
Ray's with me today, and we're going to talk about another one of the hero models from the TETRIX Prime starter set. Tell us, this is what we call the Pickee Bot, right? Is that correct?
Yes, this is a Pickee Bot.
And what would you like to tell folks, just as a general description of this kind of bot? What would we call this kind of bot?
This robot is an example of a pick-and-place robot that would be used in industry. Probably the most common use, they've been around longer probably than the mobile robots.
And you just mentioned mobile robots. This is different from most of the other type of robots that we would think of building in the fact that it's not mobile, right?
Right. It would be used, set up on an assembly line somewhere, and used to move parts from one conveyor belt maybe to another.
Okay. And why would we want to do this type of robot in the classroom, right? What makes this a good teaching tool for teachers in the classroom?
There's a lot of scientific principles that you can look at. One of those being the lever that we demonstrated where this arm is attached, the gripper is attached on this arm. By changing the length of that, we can change the amount of leverage, which changes the amount of weight we can lift with it.
So we've got simple machine concepts involved in this, right? That go together to make a complex machine.
Right.
And what are some of the other things we've got? We've got gearing involved. I see some gears.
Gear reduction here, which demonstrates wheel and axle, and the gear ratio. The servo on this one is a gear reduction, so the servo moves several times before the arm has to move much because of the size relationship between the two gears.
So it's a good way to demonstrate visually and have the kids interact with gearing principles. Okay.
Right.
What else would you really, when you were designing this with the set, what were some of the things that you were thinking about as a teacher, because you were a teacher before you joined Pittsco Education? What were some of the things that going through your mind when you were thinking about this robot?
I was thinking about some activities that they could do with it and how they could relate what this robot does to what could be, how they could use that in a career sometimes. One of the activities that we could do with that is we send some little mini cups and some golf balls with the starter set, and you can add some washers to change the weight, vary the amount of weight. And one of the activities that we've talked about is using picking up the golf ball and placing it in the cup to cover a hazardous material, simulate a hazardous material, and then move that hazardous material to another spot, like if you were storing radioactive materials in a factory.
So this is very much they can make that real life connection to robots they see in TV or maybe their folks work with in industry. So they can make that real life connection to this, right?
Right. And there's by using just the starter sets, we have the ability to control this gripper, opening and closing the gripper, and we can move. We can demonstrate different angles of motion.
Okay.
How we can move it, and we can move it. Get my controls here right. We can move it up and down, so we can reach down and pick up an object, and swing that around, place it in another position.
Now, those motions that you just demonstrated, Ray, are called what? Axis of motion?
Axis of motion.
And that kind of defines a pick-and-place robot, right?
Right.
As far as the number of different
directions. The number
directions.
of different directions it can move, and its work envelope. So we can demonstrate how we can change the grip, and we can go up and down with this. So we have a range of motion, and we're limited based on the angle of our servo.
Okay.
And another thing we can do with this is all of our hero models are kind of starter points for students to modify, and we ask them to modify this thing. So if we have this length and we have this length of lever that we have to work with, and this work envelope, and we need to pick up a heavier load, how can we change this robot, modify it, maybe put a gear drive on it to be able to lift a heavier weight, or change it so that we can raise it up, change that angle of motion to a different location.
Cool. So there you go. We've got another one of the hero models from the TETRIX Prime starter set. We hope you got a little bit of an introduction to that and maybe see some possible uses for this in your classroom. So thanks for joining us today at the TETRIX RoboBench video series. We hope you come back and have a great day building robots.